Welcome to Panther Report. I'm Carl Eckwitzel.
And I'm Amanda Marino, filling in for Ariane Johnson.
There seems to be a lot of changes going on around here.
What do you mean?
The changes that are going to be implemented around campus soon if they haven't already. It seems only fitting that we have a change in an anchor for tonight as we bring stories of change to our viewers.
What changes will we be discussing tonight?
Well, our first news story focuses on tuition changes for fall 2012. It comes as no surprise as tuition has been steadily increasing each year. By fall semester, we will be seeing a 4% increase.
Only 4%? That doesn't seem like much of an increase. I mean, how much is that compared to how much we're actually paying now? And how much aid are students eligible to receive?
I'm happy you asked that, Amanda. Reporter Oana Iuaya has more on the subject.
Hey guys, I'm Oana Iuaya, and today we're going to be talking about that 4% increase in tuition fees. We're going to be talking to students, seeing how it's affecting them, and we're also going to be trying to figure out where that money is actually going. Is it going to be a benefit to us, or is it going to actually harm us in the end? So I'm standing here with Alex. He's a freshman at Georgia State. So have you heard about the 4% increase in tuition?
Yes, I have.
How do you think it's going to affect you?
Well, obviously I have less money. I can't afford to park my car here anymore because tuition is just killing me. It's way too high.
Do you think it's going to keep on going up?
Hopefully not, but probably, just based off how it has been going up in recent years. I don't really see that trend stopping.
Do you think it's going to benefit the students of Georgia State, or Georgia State as a whole, having this increase in tuition? Do you think the money is actually going back to us?
I don't really think so. I think they're using the money to make the school look better and to get more people to come in, but I don't think they're actually improving like the infrastructure or anything of the university. I just think it's all to make it look better.
Where do you think the money's going? If you don't think it's coming back towards us, where do you think it's going?
I think it's going to our 2 and 8 football team, so they can get like 16 pairs of sweatpants and a bunch of pairs of shoes and stuff.
I'm standing here with Joe, who's a sophomore at Georgia State. So, Joe, do you know that there's been a 4% increase in tuition at Georgia State?
Yeah, actually, it's a couple $100, right?
Yeah, it is. How is it going to affect you? How do you think it's going to affect you in the future? Do you think tuition's going to keep on going up?
Most likely, yeah, especially with our growing football program.
How does it affect you personally?
I guess it's just a couple $100 out of my pocket. A couple $100 I can't spend on grad school or going out.
How do you think it's going to affect the university as a whole? Do you think it's going to be harmful to us, or do you think it's actually going to be a benefit to us?
Well, since the money I think is going to the football program, isn't it going to harm the school? Isn't it going to be better for the school if we have a better football program, more money, more people out there, more names?
How do you think the 4% increase is going to affect you?
I think it's going to affect me a lot because, as a junior, I'm trying to get out of here and, classes are getting up there and it might actually, dictate what classes I can take, how many classes I can take, things like that. And that's kind of scary when you're almost at the finish line,
Yeah, so you're a junior and I'm a senior too, and in the last few years, it seems like every single semester our tuition keeps on going up. So do you think that's like a continuing trend now? Every semester we're going to have like these 4% increases, which don't sound like a lot, but when you add them all up every semester, it is.
Yeah, it began when I was a freshman, and we were supposed to be grandfathered into our tuition, and they stopped that. And so it's been a struggle going through school, but I just think that it's something that really needs to be taken a look at, and hopefully worked out, because I know that my pockets are hurting from it.
Yeah.
So it's rough. It's rough out here. It really is.
So how do you think this is going to affect Georgia State as a whole? Do you think it's going to benefit us, or do you think it's really going to hurt us?
I definitely think it's going to hurt us in the long run, because a lot of people come to Georgia State because it's an affordable, quality institution. And if tuition gets out of hand, a lot of people are not going to be coming to Georgia State for the same reasons they were coming to Georgia State for before in the past. So I definitely think it's something that needs to be looked at, needs to be analyzed, and hopefully changed soon.
Where do you think the money is going?
I really don't know. Hopefully, I hope that it's going to, more development when it comes to the school. But honestly, if we keep shelling this money out of our pockets and we're not here to reap the benefits, it's really null and void. Like, I want to make sure that my degree keeps going up in value, but at the same time, I don't want to have to keep paying for it and also paying for others and their values to go up as well.
So none of us know how tuition is actually going to affect us, but hopefully it's going to be a benefit, and it's not going to harm us in the future. Oana Iuaya, Panther Report. The ability to obtain financial assistance is crucial to students' ability to even finish college.
So the availability and requirements for the Zell Miller Scholarship are a worthy topic of discussion, and further exploration may help us understand how it compares with the Hope Scholarship. Reporter Caitlin Leonard has more to share.
As many of you know, there's been a lot of controversy over Hope Scholarship. One point in particular has been the Zell Miller Scholarship, which now requires a 3.7 GPA in order to fully receive tuition. Let's go talk to the financial aid department to find out more information.
The Zell Miller Scholarship is a merit-based scholarship that is offered to students that graduated with a GPA, a 3.7 GPA, and the students have to have a 26 ACT score or a 1200 SAT score. In order to get it as a continuing student as well, the students needed to have a 3.3 GPA at their current institution. There's over 32,000 students at Georgia State, and less than 500 students receive the Zell Miller Scholarship.
Here we are with Cole Hairston. Cole, how has the Zell Miller Scholarship and the Hope Scholarship changes affected you financially?
It's provided more stability as far as worrying about paying for school and everything like that. It gives me more incentive to do better in school, because if I get past that 3.7 marker, then I have the whole tuitions paid for and books and everything. Right now I'm 90%, so it pays for a lot of it, but there's still that extra motive to do better.
I think it's a good program because it covers 100% of the tuition. Quite naturally, due to the budget cuts and tuition rising, I would love for it to cover more than that. But in the state of Georgia, at least we have this, scholarship.
This is Caitlin Leonard for GSTV's Panther Report.
Well, Carl, I can say that there's one change coming up next fall that will benefit students more than the tuition increase ever could.
What's that, Amanda?
The university library could be open 24 hours come this fall.
The library? Not every student will be excited about extending hours for a place they never visit.
Well, they could get excited. Longer hours should increase those students' incentive to go. And as far as students who do frequent the library, which is more than you think, the longer hours could serve as a relief for those who to avoid the library during peak hours, such as between noon and 2 on Tuesdays.
You may be onto something, Amanda. I bet I could even sleep in the library overnight.
Yeah, or you could also study for finals overnight.
Yeah, that too.
Let's turn to reporter Bhavna Dilip Kumar as she explores the possibility of extending hours that will affect our campus.
Need more time and space to study throughout the semester? Well, the GSU Library just might be the perfect place for that soon. According to SGA, the GSU Library is soon to become 24 hours within the next few years.
A 24-hour library is something that most traditional campuses have. Tech, UGA, just to name a few, they have access on campus all the time. And that's because they're on campus all the time. And 10 years ago, there weren't a lot of students that lived on campus. Now we've got right at 4,000 students on campus, and we're becoming a more traditional campus. We're building new housing there on Piedmont. We're going to continue to expand. We're expanding rec center, athletic capabilities. The idea is to turn us into a more traditional campus. And so along with that idea of GSU becoming a more traditional campus comes the idea of having a more traditional campus library, which are open 24 hours.
Now, while other colleges with 24-hour libraries nationwide is growing, such as UGA and Tech, why isn't Georgia State one yet? Well, it's harder than you think. Questions like who will fund the extended hours, how will GSU library staff be affected, and how will Zaxby's Coffee be affected are still underway.
We have been approached off and on over the last few years from students asking for a late night study space, late night computer lab space. It seems like there's a big need right now for students to have access to computers and printers, and also for group work. The main issue for the library is if we were to be open between midnight and 7:30 a.m., we would need around 5 or 6 new staff positions. The library is a very large facility. It's 2 buildings. We would need security at both gates, a computer support desk student, at least one staff member to roam the library and to assist students, because there are security issues after midnight. And also someone at our circulation desk to check out books, laptops.
So how about funding? How is the funding process?
Yeah, no
going
funding.
currently?
Yeah, no specifics or funding has been discussed
Okay.
at this time. No estimated budget. No figures have been put on paper as far as I know, and no real talk about money required.
And now let's see what the students think about this.
So I would really like for it to be able that, for me to be able to just stay here longer, 24 hours, cramming for exams or papers or whatnot.
I'm in the library a lot, and sometimes like 12 o'clock isn't enough. Like I have to work past 12 o'clock, and sometimes, I just have to pack up all my stuff and go home and stop what I'm doing, and that takes away time from, me getting back into the groove of finishing my work.
As a commuter, it wouldn't really help me that much because I'm not always here that late. But, I can see how it would help people that live on campus. But, when I'm here, I have to do all my studying and then go home. So when the bus stops running, I can't be here anymore.
Working here, I feel like after a certain time, just say 5 or 6 o'clock, a lot of people that are in the library are not really doing work. So it may just be a waste of time and money because you would have to pay, for the facilities and pay for the people that work here as well.
All in all, both SGA and library administration staff are working together towards finding the best solution for the upcoming 24-hour library change. Reporting from the GSC Library, Bob Nadi, Panther Report.
It sure seems like I only hear about events around Atlanta after they have come and gone. But one event I never miss is the Atlanta Film Festival, taking place this year around March 23rd to April 1st. The Atlanta Film Festival is a festival that has been part of the city since 1976. The festival, affiliated with Georgia State University, serves as a showcase for many independent films. We have a clip with our very own Ariane Johnson exploring the festival and the impact it has on Atlanta.
Hello everybody, this is Ariane Johnson from GSTV's Panther Report, and I'm here today with Christopher Escobar. He is the executive director of the Atlanta Film Festival. How are you?
Doing great.
Very good. And we're going to talk about a little bit about the festival, how you can see the festival, and why you would benefit as a film student from putting your film in the festival. It's pretty exclusive as far as being one of 24 eligible to be an Academy Award-winning festival. Tell me more about that.
That's correct. So we're a 36-year-old festival, one of the oldest and longest-running festivals in the region, if not the country. And we are one of the only a couple dozen Academy Award qualifying film festivals in the country. We are, because we're such a long-running festival, we're not in the current trend that a lot of other festivals do, where they tend to go a little bit more niche-oriented. We really have something for everyone. We have features, we have shorts, we have documentaries, we have narratives. A lot of the films that you see that go on to be nominated for Academy Awards, for example, make it their way through festivals first. The recent winner, The Artist, for example, went through the festival circuit first before it even got released for theaters, and that's another really great benefit about going to a festival.
In the past, who are some famous directors who've entered their films or producers who've entered their films in the past?
We have a long history with Spike Lee. We proudly adorn a letter that he sent to us as a graduate student back in 1980 from NYU, trying to submit to the festival. And just a few years back, we did a 20th anniversary screening of Do the Right Thing. Well, I would say our actual submissions open up in the late spring, early summer. But I would say for our festival or other festivals, it's important to be familiar with what the festival that you're submitting to responds to. What kind of films do they like? What kind of films do they program? The best way for you to know that is to just go. So, we pride ourselves in finding unknown filmmakers and being a part of their rise to sort of stardom, fandom, if you will.
Tell the students out there how they can find more information if they want specific details about the festival, they want to go on specific days. Where can they go?
Definitely. So they can go to our website, atlantafilmfestival.com. We have trailers on there, synopses. We have the calendar. You can also look for the March 15th issue of Creative Loafing. We're going to have our pocket guide. These pocket guides that give you the full schedule of what's going on, the sessions, gives you kind of a little preview. So if you can go on a Thursday or whatnot, you can kind of see what's playing that day and then go to the website and find out more.
That's great. There you have it, GSTV Panthers. Atlanta Film Festival needs you.
Now here's Macy Lister with your political news. Hey GSU, I'm Macy Lister with your political news. So the other day, I was having a conversation with some friends of mine, and the Electoral College, of all things, happened to be the topic of discussion. Now, I know what you're thinking, and don't worry, one day you too can have super cool conversations of and relating to politics in your spare time, but until then, I have countless stories of my own to share. So, the age-old discussion usually goes something like this. How can we elect a president based on anything other than the popular vote? That's so undemocratic. And after the 2000 Bush vs. Gore Florida general election, I Demand a Recount episode, I can see why people would feel this way. In fact, I've often felt this way myself. I mean, aren't we all capable citizens who deserve to have our voices heard? Well, the sad but true answer to my burning question is no. Take a trip to your DMV, or even better, the municipal court, and then let me know if you think all the people who have the physical ability to make such a monumental decision deserve to do so. I know, I'm sounding like an elitist liberal college student. I guess Rick Santorum is right about what he said about places like this. My professors have succeeded in opening my mind and allowing me to take a different, better educated viewpoint. Another, less elitist answer to this question is that I guess electing a president based on the popular vote alone would be a little un-American. You see, we are not just a democracy, but also a democratic republic, meaning we elect people through a democratic process to represent us in other democratic processes to ensure fair representation among states, not just people. We elect electors, which are distributed based on a state's population, to elect the officials for us. Without the electoral system, presidential candidates would only pander to the big states with big cities, which seems even less democratic than the electoral college system, if you ask me. Here's some footage shot by Alexandra Pelosi in Mississippi, our nation's poorest yet most conservative state. Mississippi is somewhat of a paradox and is a prime example of how illogical most Americans really are when it comes to making political decisions.
Hey Bill, I'm here in Mississippi, the poorest state in America, which is also the most conservative state in our union.
So why is Mississippi so conservative?
Well, you're in the heart of the Bible Belt. We believe in family. We believe in Adam and Eve, not Adam and Steve.
Whoever gets elected needs to be family orientated.
God should come into his mind in everything that he does.
You never liked the president, did you?
Never, and never will.
Why not?
One thing, his name's Obama.
This is America. Our president should be American, not Muslim.
I don't even like it. When I see him on TV, I turn it off. I don't like it.
Is it because he's black?
No, it's not because he's black, because he's a half-breed. He's black too, but he's a half-breed.
I guess I'm a little prejudiced.
Are you? You don't like black people?
Not much.
Why not?
Just don't.
What is this? Where are we?
We're in the state of Mississippi. I don't care for the government. They don't show me anything.
You get food stamps.
Yeah, but I think I deserve food stamps. I have no employment.
I hate Obamacare. I think it's retarded and pointless.
But a lot of people in Mississippi need health care.
Yeah. Back when I was growing up and when my parents were growing up and my grandparents were growing up, we didn't have all that and people still made it. And back then, people pulled their own weight. They didn't sit around waiting for everyone else to take care of them.
So you don't care about the economy?
No, just take care of yourself. You put God back in the saddle, it'll all be okay.
So something's not working here.
That's
Voting
right.
Republican hasn't worked for you.
But it could.
But it hasn't.
It hasn't, but it could.
Why is the poorest state the most conservative state?
We would rather go broke and die hungry than to give up our moral beliefs.
I feel like that voting God and voting faith is more important to me than voting for free money or voting for a handout.
I'm going to stand up for what I believe in, even if I go broke doing it.
We're not going to be pushed over. We lost the war. That's true. But we're not going to be pushed around. We're not going to back down from what we believe. And like the tag on the front of my truck says, the South will rise again.
Knowing that people out in the real world, beyond the walls of our university, which is full of intellectual, logical beings, exist people like this who vote based on feelings,
Color? Faith? Anywho, I am able to rest peacefully at night knowing that some sound-minded people were elected to handle this problem. Well, Panthers, I hope I didn't spook you with that clip. Enjoy the time in our liberal, elitist land as much as you can before you have to encounter average people on a regular basis. That's all for your political news. I'm Macy Lister, and now here's Morgan Mahone with your entertainment news.
Hey GSU, I'm Morgan Mahone, and this is the entertainment news for the Panther Report. With proper award season over, Hollywood partied, and so did the weekend box office. A baby hangover packed them in like a baby hangover, while a kiddie movie mowed them all down like a monster. The artists could only stand by and watch, in silence of course. Dr. Seuss's The Lorax opened at #1 with the year's first blockbuster debut at $70.7 million. The outsized Friday through Sunday take is the biggest ever for a movie based on a Dr. Seuss tale, and the third biggest ever for a March release. Project X, the no-name extreme teen comedy from the Hangover franchise's Todd Phillips, rocked second this weekend standings with $20.8 million. The opening was about half that of the first Hangover, which was appropriate because the budget was about half that of the first Hangover. I guess a kid movie being #1 is appropriate since spring is the season for lovers, and there seems to be enough buns in the oven and diamond rings to go around for everyone. First comes love, then comes marriage, then comes a baby in the baby carriage, though not necessarily in that order if you're a celeb. Jessica Simpson is the latest mama-to-be to bear it all. The 31-year-old fashion star mentor graces the cover of Elle in all her pregnant glory, a la Demi Moore, Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, and Mariah Carey, to name a few. Simpson is expecting her first child with Eric Johnson, and Jessica revealed that they are expecting a girl, and they've already got her name picked out. Leading eerily parallel lives, Jessica Simpson's ex-husband, Nick Lachey, announced he and wife Vanessa Minnillo, now Vanessa Lachey after taking his name, are expecting their first child together. Nick Lachey spilled the beans on Live with Kelly while co-hosting. Also packing a meatball in the oven is Jersey Shore reality TV star Nicole Palizzi, better known as Snooki. She's also announced that she's engaged to her boyfriend, Gianni Laval. Jessica Biel, finally engaged to Justin Timberlake, bared her engagement ring for the world to see and subsequently be blinded by. She finally flashed the custom-designed display strolling around Los Angeles with her fiancé while leaving the tavern. As for The Rock, no details have been released, though the humongous square-cut diamond bling pretty much speaks for itself. Some good came out of Kim Kardashian's tragic 72-day marriage to Chris Humphries. The reality star has made good on her promises and made a donation in the amount of the value of her wedding gifts to the Dream Foundation. Here on campus, the Courtyard series can get you into a springtime loving mood. Our next Courtyard series performer is Levi Stevens, singing acoustic R&B. As always, the Courtyard series takes place in the Student Center Courtyard on Tuesday, March the 20th from 12 to 1 p.m. Don't forget to wear your green this Saturday because it's St. Patrick's Day, and Atlanta will be one big party. Start off not too far from campus with the annual St. Patrick's Day Parade. Join thousands of Atlanta residents and visitors in this grand event featuring floats, balloons, more than 4,000 entertainers, and the world's largest Irish walking flag. The parade will start at noon at the intersection of Ralph McGill Boulevard and Peachtree Street in downtown Atlanta. It will continue south on Peachtree Street towards Woodruff Park and will conclude at 5 Points. A festival with entertainment for the whole family will be held at 200 Peachtree, adjacent to the Westin Peachtree Plaza following the parade. The city of Atlanta is teaming up with Atlantic Station to throw Atlanta's largest St. Patrick's Day bash, Shamrock the Station. The first ever event is bound to become an Atlanta tradition and make Midtown the place to be for St. Patrick's Day. Starting at noon, families can enjoy Irish dancing, games, face painting, balloon art, and bagpipers. Children are invited to dress up in their finest green threads to show off their Irish spirit. There will be premium and craft beer for those 21 and up, with popular drinking games also beginning at noon. Live music will begin at 5, and the night will be capped off with a fireworks display. Also on Saturday, Ralphie May will be at the Cobb Energy Performing Arts Center. As lovable as he is outrageous, Ralphie May is one of the most popular comedians in the country. Since his debut on season 1 of Last Comic Standing, audience can't get enough of this larger-than-life comedian. Now Ralphie proves he's too big to ignore with his record-breaking 4th Comedy Central special and North American tour. Voted one of Variety's 10 comics to watch, Ralphie spreads his comedic wealth further than ever by tackling topics that will make you think and occasionally squirm. With no subject off limits, Ralphie dives in and reveals the hilarious quirks that infiltrate politics, race, and even his family. Lovable enough to get away with anything, Ralphie continues to capture the hearts of thousands on his sold-out tours and promises to make you gleefully uncomfortable. Whatever you do this week, Panthers, have fun and stay safe. My name is Morgan Mahone, and that was your Panther Report, Entertainment News. Now over to Chanel Walker with your Sports Beat.
Hey Panthers, Chanel Walker here with the Sports Beats. In basketball news, our very own Atlanta Hawks will be playing against the Washington Wizards tonight here in Atlanta. This should be an easy win, so be sure to tune in at 7:30 p.m. and support the Hawks. In other NBA news, the New York Knicks seem to be striving to make the headlines every week. Guard J.R. Smith was fined $25,000 by the NBA for posting inappropriate pictures on his Twitter account. The bright side is it could have been worse because he could have gotten suspended like Hedo Turkoglu of the Orlando Magic, who made contact with a game official after a foul call that he said was never called. Not a great week for the NBA. Here at GSU, the basketball season has officially come to a close with our women's basketball team losing in the CAA tournament to UNCW with a final score of 59-66 and an overall record of 8-22. The NCAA tournament is vastly approaching, and March Madness has never been more chaotic. But honestly, what's better than predicting who wins the tournament games? Choosing the name of your tournament brackets, of course. Coming up with a funny or witty NCAA basketball bracket name is almost as much fun as watching March Madness games. Be sure to post your witty basketball bracket names in the comments of this episode on YouTube. Take me out to the ball game. The MLB regular season will be starting on April 5th, and just in case you won't be able to take your private jet to go see the Atlanta Braves versus the New York Mets in the Citi Field Stadium, be sure to tune in and watch at 1:10 p.m. In recent MLB news, the Minnesota Twins have signed pitcher Glenn Perkins for a 3-year extension, and the deal is worth a whopping $10.3 billion. While one career grows, another comes to an end, with veteran infielder Carlos Gillian calling it quits after 14 years in the league. I know some of you are ready for baseball, and the good news is that our baseball season here at GSU has already begun. The first game to kick off a 3-game series with Northeastern will be tonight at 6 p.m. here in the GSU Baseball Complex. Be sure to come out and support our team. You can also tune into WRAS 88.5 and listen to the game. The 2 games following will be this Saturday at 1 p.m. and Sunday at 1 p.m. These 2 games will not be on the radio, so you must attend. Until next time, this was Chanel Walker with your Sports Beat.
Thank you for watching another episode of the Panther Report. Remember to tune in next time on Channel 91 in University Housing and online as a live stream at gstvonline.org.
And to view past episodes, including this one, visit our YouTube channel, GSTV Panther Reports.
I'm Amanda Marino.
And I'm Carl Eckwitzel.
See you next time on the Panther Report.